Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Masks Monday. I believe we are on session 6 now, but this is still in chapter 1 of Masks of Nyarlathotep, the third session. So we are getting a little bit deeper now into the American storyline, shall we say? But anyway, we have unfortunately got a player down tonight. Ronnie's got terrible toothache, so obviously that's going to be written into the game in some way, which will possibly come up later. But in the meantime, let's introduce the rest of the characters. So on my, well, it depends on which way you're looking, really. On my left, but on the screen's right, it's going to be Herr Braun.
Yes, Johan Braun. Good evening. Johan is German by birth, in America for his professional work, and much looking forward to finding out who's murdered his friend in the last episode. Few lines of inquiries came up the last episode that is very intriguing, and I think we're gonna go and see a few people this time around, particularly the sister of the Carlisle expedition leader.
Just a few, but there may be more that come up later. And then below me is Francoise Pelletier.
Yes, my name is Francoise Pelletier. That's the only thing I know about my character because I can read it on the screen. I thought I was called Powered by StreamYard, but apparently not. Anyway, sorry, vague reference to something that happened before we went live there.
She copied and pasted the link into a display name.
By accident. I selected it in the PDF. I can see it's still highlighted in the PDF. Anyway, this is me. This is my sanity. And let's go play Cthulhu.
Okay. And finally, we have Arthur and his pet bird.
Yeah, of course. This is my representation of Francoise. My name is Arthur Dibden. I'm a battle-born medic in the Royal Army that decided it may be a good idea to change places, see something cool around South America, I'm sorry, before getting caught in devilish stuff we found back there and back in New York. So quiet times are pretty far from over. And I'm taking Wilson's Greene's place in doing the summary of last session. I didn't recall the word summary.
I was wondering what you're going to say for a minute. I'm taking Winston's place.
And so bye.
As the soul of the party.
That's a nice segue then. So why don't you do the summary for me, Mr. Dibden?
All right. So what I'm going to tell you is a story of love, betrayal, and all the bullshit I'm saying so far to address last week summary. So as Jonah said, we are to meet with an acquaintances of Carlisle's expedition, but we had to book an appointment next Tuesday, that she will hosting a soirée. So we are going to be very smart dressed in order to impress her and maybe gain some more details. We also went to the Emerson Imports because we found a business card of said place among the... okay, speaking English is hard tonight, I'm sorry. Among Jackson's properties. Okay, so we got to know by Mr. Emerson himself that Silas and Cowe has a place in Harlem, Juju's house, where he sells stuff from Kenya, and I'm quoting, brought here a lot of his culture, an interesting fellow. Also, Jackson was looking for a book in the Harvard library called Africa's Dark Sects, but it's not in the collection anymore, and the woman Wilson talked to said it was stolen, God knows when. Also, our favorite telephone operator called the Miskatonic University as well, about the meeting that Professor Cowell's all there. And we got to know about a pretty old cult involving the figure of the father of all bats, which in different notes that he told Wilson on the phone, we got to know that some, okay, I'm not reading what I wrote in the notes, some big gods were supposed to gather in the Australian territory, and the father of all bats getting through some sort of portal, and that this sand bat, or father of all bats, has a quarrel with another deity, called the Rainbow Snake. Also, we got to know about the cult of the Bloody Tongue, which assumedly originated from Kenya and is connected to the symbol that was carved on Jackson's forehead, as well as on the other victims of the several murders happened in Harlem. What we got to know about said murders was that there is no correlation or connections among them, beside the fact that they were all from Harlem and they are all carved in the same symbols. Still, Elias was murdered in Chelsea, so we got that going. We also go to our dearest past friend in funeral in Cypress Hill, where we got to know a lot of people. We saw his publisher, Jonah Kensington, a black man probably related with a younger woman, Ramsey's niece apparently, and Ramsey is named Carlton Ramsey, which is Elias' solicitor, and we are summoned to his will reading, which was redacted a little while ago on Monday. So we got the next week fully booked. This is not the first time that Jackson came into trouble, and we decided that was a nice idea to go directly to the Juju's house in Harlem. Our friend Wilson thought that it was a good idea to look under the rug, uncovering a door trap before said Silas started screaming from trespassing. So we got away before the police came about. And that's about it, if I don't forget anything else.
Well, most of you got away, except for Francoise, who was busy looking through a ledger.
Yeah, of course.
And found some interesting payments going out, which obviously is just his house insurance. So she was patted down a bit by the police and made Silas very pissed off. But yeah, she then reunited and went back to your rather fanciful Waldorf Astoria hotel. And
what was that again? TR14
WR14
or something, wasn't it? That
Yes, indeed.
WR14.
you also, at the very end, you got a message from reception at your hotel that Lieutenant Poole wants a word with you, or a chat, at some point.
In the distant future, I'd say.
Yeah, you all firmly decided February the 30th was a good idea.
Yes, indeed.
Which is a keeper, that's an interesting answer to give. But anyway, yes. Okay, so before we start, just to quickly do our sanity and luck checks. So, Arthur, you're still on 70.
Sanity and 34 luck.
I've got 25 here for luck. Did you spend some?
I believe I didn't update my sheet because I brought and spent a 9 luck last time. So yeah, that makes perfect
that's
sense.
why I put it down to 25.
So
okay.
25. Yeah,
you do get your D4 though for the summary. So while you're doing that, Francoise, you're on 77 sanity and 47 luck.
77 and 47.
Just a sec.
Yes. And Johan, you're on 87 sanity.
Yes.
Lucky you, and 62 luck.
Yes. No, 61 luck I've got.
Oh, 61. Okay.
I think I spent one, didn't I, to
I was trying to look all bloody and stuff, but I couldn't see shit. Okay, I get 3.
You got another 3. Okay.
Of luck.
You right, Beck?
I just realised I forgot to get fresh dice out, so just got to grab a bag that's on my table. So we're back to Glitter Valkyrie RPG dice again today, because they happen to be in reach.
Okay, and I believe Francoise and Johan, you still have a bonus die available.
Yeah, I've not used mine yet, that's true.
I do indeed have a bonus die, which, Cthulhu, that's uncomfortable wording.
Why?
A bonus die.
It's not a bonus death.
Well, dice is.
But it's Cthulhu, so it could be. And it's singular dice, so, uncomfortable. Why is it a bonus die when there's just one of them? It's a bonus die. It's
Okay,
like a singular plural. No, it definitely means a bonus death.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and also I know that we quickly checked about, okay, you're in separate rooms at the hotel, but one thing I didn't think about was, are you next to each other, or are you separate completely? Are you on the same floor? Or would you like me to maybe make a roll and see if it's random?
Yeah, I wouldn't have cared when I booked in.
Random.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, nobody specifically said at the time, so I thought...
we would have booked it all individually, so...
Okay, then. Well, why don't we roll for Winston first, since he's not here? Okay, so Winston is on the 11th floor.
Oh, I hope to hide in the basement.
Oh, he's got the basic room. He's up top.
I'm on the
okay.
$6 a day room. Remember that.
Johan is on the 7th floor. Francoise, you're on the 9th floor. And Arthur, you're on the 10th floor. So not too far away from each other. Okay, and why don't we just do rooms as well? So Winston is on 1182. I'm writing these down, so don't worry. Johan, you're on 796. Is anyone going to get 410? No, they're not. Francoise is 941. And Arthur is 1034.
All right.
This may mean absolutely nothing. I don't know, but I've got to anyway, just in case.
Our rooms are relevant for some reason.
Okay, so floors 8 through 12 explode in tentacles.
This is Pulp Cthulhu. Come on.
In tentacles.
Yeah. Okay, then. And just to remind you what you've booked so far on your calendar, a bit like a PA this, aren't I? So it is now Saturday. Let's say early Saturday morning, the 17th of January, 1925. And you have got an appointment with Rebecca Schosenberg from the New York Times at 11 o'clock.
All right.
Sunday so far is free. And then Monday you've got, let's see. I thought hold on a second. That's a pain. I can't see past the blooming book.
The reading of the will.
Yes, and you've got Prospero House before then.
Oh,
So
which one
Prospero
was
House in the
Prospero
morning.
House?
That was Jonah. Jonah said he had some papers belonging to Jackson.
Ah.
And then yes, you there is just to clarify about Erica. So you know that her soiree is on Tuesday evening.
Yes.
You were asked about an appointment, but you never actually confirmed a specific time. So whether you want to try and arrange something separate or try and get into the soiree is up to you at this point, or if you want to do both.
Well, I mean, if the soiree's first, that'll be the best thing to go for initially, I should imagine. But I think we should probably book it.
But we'd have to get an invite for that. That's the problem.
Probably would. I wonder if the journalist could help us.
Perhaps.
We may try and see.
But anyway, so Saturday morning. Are you, since you've only got the appointment at 11 o'clock, are you ones to lay in a bit, or would you still get up quite bright and early for breakfast?
Got to get breakfast at a hotel, haven't you?
This is the Waldorf Astoria. They're pretty flexible. Even if you miss breakfast, they do like really fancy ass room service and things.
I don't miss breakfast.
Yeah, I don't miss breakfast. No one wants to spend $50 just because you're half an hour later up. You go to the breakfast stinking and you shower afterwards. That's how it works in hotels.
Okay. Well, breakfast is open until 10 o'clock, so still plenty of time.
Exactly, really early.
Okay. All right. I'll let you, if you want to discuss anything now over breakfast, then by all means, please do.
No, I think we eviscerated everything that we are planning to do. Also, the Silas, the Juju house, I believe it's
I
an
think
hot
the
spot
first,
now.
I think the first
So-
appointment is pretty straightforward, isn't it?
It is.
Sorry?
It's find out what we can about what. No, I can't remember what we wanted to do.
Is
I had a plan last week. I've forgotten.
she thinks the guy that's been arrested for this murder in Harlem was innocent.
Oh yeah, he might be, but he might not be. He may also be part of. God, what accent is this? I do not know.
Are we thinking we're going to want to go and see this guy?
Possibly, if we think it can help us.
I don't know how difficult it is to get into Sing Sing, whether you just let random people in to visit people or
We get the journalist to arrange it for us.
Yeah, I believe it may be a possibility.
It is just a question of if we think it will help in some way, and what are we looking to find out. So, we want to. What do we want to do? We want to. We do need to find out who killed it, our friend. So, if yes, that is what we're doing. So, why don't?
Quite big fundamental thing. Although you don't have
Well,
to. But, yeah.
To be honest, I was more interested in the expedition. I kind of forgot I had a friend who died.
I don't remember his name.
nice knowing you.
So, yes. So, we. I think we shall see the journalist. It is. We'll find out why. Why does she think a guy is innocent? And if we think a guy knows something, maybe we ask him some stuff too.
Yeah, first of all, we should just listen, and then we
Yeah.
make our own idea.
Yeah.
Also,
Also,
for all we know, this journalist may be full of shit, for all we know.
could be that she went to automatically defend him because he is black and she is black, and she was determined that the police commissioner was racist, and that might well be the case. I don't know what accent I'm doing now. It's like I have a cold.
For Somerset, you don't know. You don't know.
So it could be that he is a racist. It could be that that she has jumped to defend him with no cause. I'm inclined to believe her, but it's not necessarily true.
Did we get a name for the guy that arrested him?
Yes,
Oh, we did. Okay.
We did?
it was the head of the Harlem
You
police.
didn't get a name, but she said it was the head of the Harlem precinct.
I was
I've been
interested.
told that I was saying it wrong.
I
We'll
was.
rephrase it.
But she did not. She did not name him. She wouldn't do it out in public.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
She was
I'm
very
interested in
reluctant.
getting a name from her as well because I want to know if those initials tie up with this WR14.
Oh, easy. I'll ask the concierge who the head of the Harlem precinct is.
They're not necessarily going to know the answer to that, but they say that they can find out for you.
Also, we are going to the person she knows
Yeah,
in a
can wait.
closed office. So
Yeah.
I believe she tells us.
Yeah, no, we can wait on that one. Okay. Also, we should telegram what's her name back.
I was just the woman
We should what?
Miss
This
Carlyle.
is- yeah, Miss Carlyle.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, you're going to be telegramming her first point of contact rather than her specifically, but yes.
what did we say? What have we actually sent to her so far?
It was a phone call by Winston, if I recall.
Not a phone call, no. Johan wanted to write quite a long letter about, the expedition was a bit rubbish, wasn't it? So we're going to make it better and go ourselves, to which Winston was like, nah, probably not the best way of
I was
communicating.
suggesting we were interested in finishing it. They never finished, did they?
So just to recap, then you got quite a bog standard, almost like one of those pre-generated email type things that said,
Yeah, but I'm just curious what we said in order to get that.
You never confirmed it with him, so you never actually said, yes, I'll make it. I want to meet up at this date or something.
Yeah, okay. Let's just give an appointment confirmation then.
Yeah, well, we ought to actually think about what our way of attacking that is as well, because what's the best way? But anyway, so we go and see. We've got a few people to see first, anyway. So,
do we ask as soon as possible for the meeting?
I think we should ask for the appointment. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we got this afternoon and Sunday free.
Okay. Do you send a telegram?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Whether you put an appointment or not, you are told what time. Because again, she's a very busy woman. But yes, her point of contact confirms that yes, she is available this afternoon at her mansion or at her home at around 3:00. But he says to come 15 minutes early.
Okay. So be there for 2:45 to 3:00.
Where's our mansion?
So you think it may be up north, maybe near to Sing Sing.
Oh.
But it is out of Manhattan.
All right. So if we ask the concierge, may tell us here and there how long will it take to go there?
We did.
Yeah, you can.
Since I'm not familiar with New York topography.
Yeah, so he can certainly kind of suggest ways to get up there. So he tells you the nearest train station to get to. Depending on transport, it sort of takes maybe 40 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, not that much.
Yeah, but it's a bit out.
We did get a map, didn't we, of the city?
Yeah, I believe we should take one in the hall of the hotel if available.
Her address is Carlisle House at Westchester Estate. God, that's a mouthful. Westchester.
Westchester.
Yes, Westchester.
What's that, estate or street?
It's just called Westchester. There's no street. It's a mansion. It's out in the open countryside. Yes.
Oh my God, I'm rich. I live in the countryside.
Oh yeah, she's super rich. She can do what she wants.
Super rich.
Super rich.
She can afford to lose her brother in Africa. So
she makes Winston look like a pauper. Rich.
All right.
Okay, so he confirms that appointment with you. Whilst that's happening, I'll say that you're kind of getting freshened up to go out. Obviously, Winston didn't turn up for breakfast this morning. If any of you go and try and find out what's happening, he's basically trying to sleep off a terrible toothache in his room.
Who could have guessed?
Who could have guessed? Well, either toothache or hangover or food poisoning usually right.
I'll ask him if he wants if I want to pick up any medication for him.
I'll say yes, yeah. Although it might be more things like opium are more readily available than say the modern painkillers. But
we can do the harmy remedy.
Yeah.
Punch
Okay.
your teeth out.
No. Okay, so Francoise, as you're pretty much ready to go, you are about to leave your room when you get a knock at the door.
Okay.
Anyone in there? NYPD.
No.
Hello? I know you're in there, ma'am.
Very quietly get into bed. And
We just need you to come downtown for a little while to make a statement.
yeah, I get fully into bed so that I'm like completely in it. No clothes hanging out.
You hear a little murmur, and then you hear the door start getting budged quite hard.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah. Oh.
Eventually, door comes open, and they see you. Oh, our apologies, ma'am. And then one of them looks at his pocket watch and realizes it is actually sort of 10:30. Everything all right, ma'am?
Water.
Okay, can you make me a persuade roll, please?
That's the table. Oh dear. Persuade, you say?
Yes.
If I check this a couple more times, will it get closer?
Bonus die.
Bonus die.
Oh,
Yes.
well,
What?
have you already rolled?
Yeah. Do you have to say beforehand with the bonus die?
Oh.
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean, I let
okay.
you do it the first time, but
Oh, I didn't know. Okay. Yeah.
they look at you unconvinced and say, "Ma'am, it's only a statement. It won't take long. A person has filed a complaint against you, so we just need you to fill out some paperwork, nothing more."
I have an appointment this morning I'm supposed to go to.
Well, like I said, it won't take long. If you come now, we'll finish sooner, so...
Wait, who complains about me?
They don't really want to get into details, but they'll say everything will be answered for you downtown, ma'am.
There is no one in their right mind that would have cause for complaint against anything I have done.
Ma'am, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, your choice.
I get out of bed, I'm still dressed, I'm kind of angry and I've kind of forgotten I was playing ill. What do you mean a complaint? I will have none of this. I will sort this out, I will find out who complained, and I will complain about them.
Ma'am, we get nuisance calls and complaints all the time. It's probably nothing.
Do you not know who I am? I'm a person of dignity and sincerity. Apart from that moment when I was in bed. I will not have this.
It is quite cold, I suppose, but they do look a little bit like...
Hey, I was having my own time in my own room. You barged in. Now, who is this person?
To answer the door.
I was in bed.
So they take you out. Obviously, the other two, you don't know what's happening. But I'm assuming you get in their car, Francoise.
Assuming it is a police car, yes.
Yeah, it's a police car. Yeah, they seem like perfectly legitimate policemen, although you've not seen these two before. But yeah, so you head on off. A couple of minutes later, you get the impression you're going north rather than, say, over to Pool's place.
So... Oh, I thought you wanted to talk for a moment there. No, I see what you're doing.
He said,
okay. All right, so I know what this is now. This is WR14. So which of you is WR14?
WR14?
Well, you're clearly not taking me to the police station, and so this is obviously...
We are. We're taking you to Harlem, ma'am. We're 14th precinct.
Why the hell am I going to Harlem?
Because you were in Harlem yesterday, ma'am.
Well, yes, of course I was. But I had people around me that made it safe. And you're just going to take me there. This is not acceptable.
Yes, I thought Francoise would play it out like this. Okay. So you're taking it, and it is indeed Harlem that you turn up to. It's quite a grand building. This police station. It's got that very kind of pastiche, almost Roman type look to it that a lot of American buildings have, but this one kind of stands out compared to the rest of the Harlem architecture. So you go in again, equally grand, and you're directed into one of the rather small, confined interview rooms. You sort of wait a few minutes, and it's getting a bit frustrating, and no one's really told you anything else. But then somebody does come in. Let me just get...
This is about time.
Yeah.
I was beginning to lose my patience. Not like a doctor loses patience. I mean, I was getting angry, how you say in English.
So it's a single man. I don't, not single, though he might be single. It doesn't actually say in the book. A white man, blonde hair. He does a bit of a smile and quite a guttural, Bronxy kind of sort of laugh, and you can see one of his teeth up here is missing. He's got a cup of coffee on him. In fact, you actually see him get another cup, and he says, "Yes, apologies, ma'am. You want a cup?"
No, I did not want a cup of coffee. I want to get back to my comfortable surroundings. I don't want to be here. I understand there was a complaint about me, presumably from the man who falsely accused me of theft when I was patted down by police, and they confirmed that I had not stolen anything, and yet here I am again being harassed by this man. I want him locked up and put inside and away from me. He is harassing me and he won't leave me alone.
He kind of, you see sort of his eyes squint up a bit. He's got a file under his arm that he kind of almost slams down on the table to try and shut you up. But he doesn't shout at you specifically. He says, "Let's start at the beginning, shall we?" And he holds out a big hand, and he's got like a little signet ring on his pinky.
Is there initials on it?
Walter Robson.
You are the man he is paying off. It was in his ledger when he showed me his ledger. That explains everything. Now I know why I am here. Okay, what book are you throwing at me today?
He sits back in his chair like this, sort of puffing it
Also,
out,
you should really make sure he does not put your name in his ledger.
And again, he's not saying anything. He's sort of breathing in and out.
What was it, how much was it again? Sorry, $75, wasn't it?
Sort of $50,
$60
$50 or $60.
So what is it?
We know it was the same amount.
Yeah, it was the same amount each week. Only for me, it was last week.
Monday or Tuesday. I don't believe we were given the exact amount.
Yeah, so he's sort of puffing his chest out like this.
I quote the exact amount every Monday or Tuesday. It was there in plain and black and white. I think that is why he is harassing me. Because I saw it when he was showing me the ledger. It was actually not going in there about you at all. I was asking about a friend.
He, again, doesn't say anything.
But your criminal cohort is clearly...
Can I at least describe what he's doing, babe?
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Carry on.
So he gets out a pad of paper and he just starts writing down everything you're saying. Well... I was hoping to say a few things to you first and at least explain why you're here before you've given me a statement, but it looks like we're doing things the other way around. But just want to say, how is New York? How is it treating you? How are the boys treating you?
Well, already one of my friends has been killed. I am being harassed by a man in the street, and now I'm being picked up by a policeman who apparently is bribing every week. So you tell me, how is New York?
Are you quite done? Lady, I have other things to do. This was only supposed to be 5 minutes. Nevertheless, I do have something to show you. So now you've done your talking, I do my talking, right? And he opens up his file. And it's next to him, so you can't see exactly what is in there, but there's obviously photos in there. And he's sort of going through them. And he says, "You know, you're saying a lot of stuff to me today, but obviously you were in Harlem. Obviously you may have ruffled a few feathers that you shouldn't have done, you know. But for a pretty dame like you, poking around in Harlem is dangerous. You probably understand that. I know you're not from round here, given the accent, but and you know, I know that a couple of boys came and saw you, but my squad is normally stretched pretty thin. They can't be everywhere, you know. And we get nuisance calls as well, people saying their pizza's too spicy, all that rubbish. And I just can't keep track of everything as much as you'd like me to. People get attacked, you know, almost every week.
I'm sorry, I'm
Lots
trying
of
to
them
work
women.
out. I'm trying to work out if you are you saying you can't protect me from a nondescript threat, or are you saying that the person who is harassing me is maybe that is can be dismissed? I'm not sure what your context is. Are you saying that you are threatening me, or are you saying that you're not threatening me, but you can't protect me from the man that is harassing me?
Let me put this very plainly to you, ma'am. Plain English, the language that both of us hopefully can understand. And
I speak good English.
He turns the file around. Actually, no, I beg your pardon. He doesn't turn it around. He gets out one of the photos, and he passes it to you. And I'm assuming you take a look at it, do you?
Mm-hmm.
It's gruesome. It is basically what looks like the remains of a young woman who's been brutally killed. And just by seeing that, can you make me a sanity roll, please?
Passed it easily.
Okay.
So I'm studying her, looking to see if that mark, that symbol, the bracketed sun thing, is anywhere on her.
Yeah, there's no mark anywhere. It just looks horrible.
You see, this is not even a ritual killing. Complete amateurs.
Doesn't matter whether it's a ritual killing or not, ma'am. Don't you agree? It's pretty nasty.
Not as nasty as what happened to my friend when I first arrived in this city.
You speak of your friend. Who is this friend of yours?
Shit. Oh, Elias.
Mm-hmm.
Elias Johnson, I think. No, what was it again?
Jackson.
Jackson. Elias Jackson, very close friend. He was in the...
He writes it down.
He was in the news on the paper, the report of his murder. Harlem murders, they said, but it is not a Harlem murder. He was not in Harlem, he was in Chelsea.
Ah. Yes, I did read that newspaper. How about I show you another one? And he gets out an even more gruesome photo. And it looks like the woman's had frostbite, lots of kind of cuts and lacerations and all sorts of stuff. But again, no sort of marking or anything.
You know, it is really not as gruesome as some of the things I saw on Peru when I was on expedition. You should see what the colored Mary, I forget what exactly they're called, a Peruvian mythological beast, except it's not mythological, it's a real thing. It's considered that way by the West, you know. Anyway, some of the detail of the death is really quite graphic and horrific if you actually see it in person. And like when I was on expedition, we did get to see these things. We actually had to fight them off at night one time. I was on watch and I had to fight it. Very scary moment, you know, when it's an actual genuine monster from myth that is trying to hurt you. I wonder if you have ever been on an expedition yourself, or if you've just been in the city all your life, so this is horror to you.
Well, I'm impressed. Or maybe you just had too much coffee today, ma'am. Who knows?
No, I'm trying to say I know exactly why I'm here, and I'm not threatened by you. Also, I have no interest in that man. I don't even care that he is bribing you. I wasn't even going to report it. Who would I report it to anyway? It hardly matters.
No, you're right. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that I don't see you in Harlem anymore.
But to do that, you should probably move away. I might come back sometime. I had no plans to, but who knows?
Lady, I wasn't born yesterday. You may be using your second language to try and get around what I'm saying to you, but I know that you know what I'm saying. If I find out that you're in Harlem, then maybe we don't get to you in time, is what I'm saying to you.
Yeah, well, maybe I don't want you to, because last time I came across your policeman when in Harlem, they brushed me down. I was completely innocent. The man had no right to accuse me of stealing. I clearly had not. He had his eyes on me the whole time. Some person other side of the shop did something. I don't know what. Was not me. The
That
man
may
just saw
be.
a woman and screamed. I think he's a virgin.
You have a sense of humor as well. I like that. I like that in a woman. Still, it would be a pity if you got in too deep into something that
What, you
shouldn't
think because I'm a
concern you.
woman I cannot cope with it? Of course I can. I'm every bit as capable as you.
If you're as capable as me, then I won't see you anymore in Harlem.
Why, could you not go in Harlem yourself? Maybe I'm more capable.
Okay, let's see how you're gonna play. We're done here. We're done here, and whilst you're all bibbling and babbling and yakking, I hope that you actually take my threat seriously, because I am going to hold no sorts of ifs or buts towards it.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure.
Keep your nose out of other people's businesses.
It was a pleasure to meet you, WR14.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Also, I know how much you cost, and I can easily outbid that man.
So, admitting to looking in private papers.
Absolutely not. The man showed me himself. And I can double his money.
And what's that supposed to mean?
It means I know how much he pays you, and I can pay double that.
Pay double?
Yeah, he
For
pays
what?
you. But let's turn it around. Let's kick him out of Harlem.
He is a shop owner.
And? Do you care about the shop? Do you buy donuts there?
You obviously didn't look very far into it, lady.
Why? What does he do there? I mean, I only went in to ask, literally to ask if my friend had been in. He checked the ledger. I saw your name. That is it. There was a commotion on the other side of the shop, and that was not me. So, really, I have no idea what he does there. Are you telling me it is not donuts? Because I don't think it was donuts. I think it was African stuff.
Yeah, he sells African things.
So is it a great loss? I can pay you double. And then you go in and search him and give him a hard time.
So, you're looking into stuff that isn't yours. You're attempting to bribe a police officer. Anything else you want to add to the statement?
No. I know you get paid 50 a week, yeah? Every week, Monday or Tuesday, WR14, it is you.
That could stand for anything. You
You
have no
already.
proof.
I have the context of the old situation. Anyway, I pay you 100. Every week that he is not in Harlem, I pay you 100.
Quote, every week that he is not in Harlem, I will pay you 100 green stuff.
I did not say green stuff. It could have been jelly babies. It's the office stats.
We are done here. Get out of my office.
Oh, that is easy. Stop sending your goods to pick me up. I'll walk out.
If you want to cool down in the cell, I can show you one right now. But yes, you're taken back to your hotel. Unless you do anything else.
Do I let them take me back, or would I get a taxi?
Either.
I think I'd rather take a taxi.
Okay. No problem. To which you arrive back at the hotel, and presumably by this point, Johan and Arthur, you've come downstairs and you're waiting for. Why do women take so long to get ready?
Yeah, probably
Exactly so.
She's late. She's late.
On a player perspective, I didn't think shit would hit the fan so fast.
No, me neither. Me
so
neither.
so fast. Well, thank you. Merci beaucoup, Francoise. Merci beaucoup.
To which you see Francoise stagger in out of the cold.
Did you go without us?
Where have you been?
No.
Where did you go then?
Oh, as
Since
the
we're
police
expecting-
illegally entered my room without a warrant, and they took me into station to talk to the head of the police, and so I had to go with him.
Well, since they pinched you yesterday, I didn't think that was illegal.
They barged into my room today. It was this morning. I was in bed.
And did you give a statement?
This was not about statement. This was a
You
policeman telling me never come back again. I said, it's easy. Just don't pick me up with your goons.
So it's to do with that frack out.
Whatever Winston did, he obviously got him spooked. So, should we go back there and find out what is in the cellar?
Yeah, because it's strange, because nothing really happened.
I know.
Yeah, as long as
Especially me.
Silas is not friend with him.
I did absolutely nothing.
Besides being too slow, you say.
Sorry?
Beside being too slow, you say.
If it was me that done the crime, I would have been ready to run. I did not know Winston was going to go. Who knew that? I was in the shop. I was looking at an urn.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
All right. I believe we have an appointment. We are maybe a little bit late for that.
Yes.
So I guess
So
we
I
should
suppose
get
you're
going.
walking and talking, or walking briskly and
Yes.
talking. It's still cold outside. No more snow. It's maybe dying off a little bit, but you've been keeping an ear out on the forecast. There's more people sort of shoveling light snow and salt being thrown on the pavements and so on, especially around Waldorf Astoria. But yes, so you head over to 229 West 43rd Street, New York Times, and so you asked to see Rebecca Schosenberg, and you head on into her very neatly laid out desk. She's very pleased to see you. She's actually just arriving herself. It's around sort of 11:05, but she's almost quite relieved to see you, and she says, "Oh, I'm so happy you're here. I wasn't sure you'd come back." Although she notices that Winston isn't there, and then her expression turns to that of slight disappointment.
Yes, well,
Yes,
I'm afraid one of our parties indisposed at the moment with some toothache. Couldn't make it, I'm afraid, and we're town late because Francoise was otherwise indisposed.
Oh well, you're obviously busy folks, but it's a pity about your friend. I was hoping you'd all be here, but nevertheless, obviously now is more convenient to you. So let's get out the papers. And what she does is she goes into a filing cabinet and gets out sort of scraps of things. So there's things like newspaper clippings and so on. Her file. Just out of character, one slight correction. I said that Rebecca said that Adams was from the Bronx, but just to make it a bit simpler, because it's not said anywhere in the book, let's just say he's from Harlem, because that's where he's been for many, many years. But yes,
Right.
so she kind of starts relaying some notes to you. You've got the different newspaper clippings of various murders. What what she says first, she sort of talks about the murders. So she says, with these murders, like I mentioned to you after the funeral, there's not really any links to them. Technically, the first two, they can be considered part of the Harlem murders, except they weren't in Harlem. So some people say they are, some people say they aren't. But the point is that the way they turn out, as in the bodies, very, very similar. So they have the symbol either on the head or the chest or somewhere prominent where people can see it. But essentially what happened was these two, not really much in terms of links could be made. Then they started happening in Harlem. More and more happened in Harlem, and that's when Captain Robson took over the case with the Harlem murders. He is the head of the 14th precinct up there. Then once it got to the 8th murder, so the last murder in Harlem, that is when Adams was arrested. Now, Adams, like I said, I've briefly spoken to him. I couldn't speak to him for long, but I managed to speak to him. And also I've spoken to many people who know him in the community. He used to be a surgeon back in they're called the Harlem Hellfighters or the Harlem Hellcats. And 369th Infantry Regiment. So he used to be in there during the Great War. He then came to Harlem to work and live with his wife. He told me, and the community again backed this up, that he started noticing disappearances happen in Harlem. And we're not talking one or two people. We're talking handfuls, or sometimes even a dozen, disappear over the course of 2 nights. And he was naturally worried. He basically went to the cops to tell them, and they didn't really take him too seriously. So he decided to, I guess, form a neighborhood watch or group of people to watch over the community and protect.
That would annoy him.
What annoy who? Sorry.
As the what's his name? Rogers. Not Rogers. What's his name? The police
Robson.
Chief. Robson. That would annoy Robson. I've met him. He likes to kill
really?
indiscriminately. Yes. So
Right.
if you're getting in the way of his murders and you have a neighborhood watch, that would get in his way.
Well, I don't know how much you know about the Hellfighters, but they were all black. So I imagine just that alone would annoy him slightly. But anyhow, so they help protect the community, keep an eye out on things. But essentially what happened was he was not really anywhere near the 8th murder. He may have been nearby, but not when it happened. And from what he told me, he was stopped, he was arrested, his knife was confiscated, and they used that as the murder weapon.
Question: the pictures that Rogers guy showed me, were they of black women?
I'll say no. They were both white.
Okay.
I wanted to ask the journalist if she was able to link the disappearances notices with the name of the victims. If the people who disappeared were also the people who were found dead, and how many people was found dead.
This is where it gets tricky. So we know that there were 8 murders before your friends. In terms of disappearances, like I said, there were many more. But things like names, exact locations, whether they matched, that is all classified, it's confidential, and kept well away from the public eye. So it's been extremely difficult for me to get anything of that nature. So as you can imagine, I only have fragments of these newspapers and interviews and so on. So there might be 1 or 2 that ended up dead in the end, if it was the same people perhaps who were doing this. But if not, I don't know. I don't do. Well, let me put it to you, because I know that I proposed a couple of things, but if you're still interested in helping, I could point you in the direction of a couple of people that he knows, and of course there is still the option I can try and get you in to see him if you want.
That's a yes, please, and thank you to both your proposals.
Yeah, yeah. And was the knife the only sort of evidence they had?
Yeah, although the way they did it, the way that it obviously it's not proof, but the way that they made it proof, apparently the knife was quite similar or possibly the same as the murder weapons that were used in other cases. Now he told me that it wasn't the same. But
I told you according to what?
no, he himself told me he knows his own knife, and he told me that his knife, he described his knife and the way it looks, and it doesn't quite fit the description.
They swapped knives then after they took the evidence.
Well, he said that when they confiscated his knife, they put the blood of the latest victim all over it.
It would not surprise me. Is
She
my
looked at you
theory.
quite sincerely, as if you're, maybe she's quite surprised that a white person is actually understanding, the premise of this. So,
Is my theory. I think that there is a cult operating in Harlem. I think that it is
Now that's
involved. It is involved with the police, and they pay the police off. I also know.
Oh, sorry. Now go on.
I also know how much one member of the cult bribes the police, but I know it is more than one, because when I offered to pay double the amount, the police said no. So
Hold on. The police are being bribed by a cult?
well, I think it is a cult.
I believe that we're getting a little bit too ahead of ourselves.
No. She might be onto something, because when Robson did make a statement, this was after a few murders had happened, so obviously it was getting more in the public eye, and we, of course, were getting more interested. He, in his statement to the press, he mentioned a doctor whom he'd consulted with, who said that it may be linked to some sort of organization of a cultish nature.
What is the name of the doctor?
Let me just see if I can find his name. And she looks through. That's it. Dr. Mordecai Lemming. Now, address.
Is that the Australian man?
No. You don't recognize his name. That one was Carlson, I believe. Is it Carlson? No, Cowles. Sorry, Anthony Cowles.
Oh, that's the coin professor from Australia.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so this was a different one that they asked.
Yeah. Yes. Now, I don't know if he's still there, but I do remember prying for an address for him. I was told that he was staying at the Murray Hill Hotel.
And what does this doctor specialize in? Why did he quote him?
I don't know. It sounds more like a doctor of some eclectic studies rather than a medical doctor, if he's talking about organizations, maybe anthropology.
You see,
but I've not been able to see him myself.
I think we inadvertently stumbled across a member of the cult. I'm saying this as much to Johan and Arthur as more than I am Rebecca, although she can certainly hear it.
Would sort of explain why he was so touchy about.
Yes. And he has influence over the police. He is paying them.
Yes, you mentioned. So how do you know? Have you got any proof?
When we went in there, I was asking for had a friend of ours been there, our friend who was killed.
Yes, Mr. Elias, yeah.
He said no, and he showed me the ledger. I see in the ledger this WR14, and I see it every week, Monday or Tuesday, $50 every time.
As in the letters, like initials?
Ledger, yeah, WW 14.
And you think that's a reference to what?
Well, I thought 14 Ireland Precinct, maybe there's a link, but I did not know until this morning when the Ireland police turn up. Oh, I skip a bit that I should explain. So, a friend of mine in the shop, he's other side of the shop, he looks under, sees something strange under a carpet. He has a little look under the carpet. Man goes ballistic. So my friends, they all run off, but of course I did not see this start to happen, so I'm still in the shop. The man goes so angry at me, he goes out and he gets the police to come in and frisk me, accuses me of stealing. So, anyway, whatever, the man obviously has something suspicious in his basement, right? So, this morning, I would think no more of it, but the police turn up, they drag me to the station, and I meet the bearer of the initials himself. Gives me a very tough talking to, says he, I am not allowed back in Ireland, or I will be murdered. Shows me pictures of murdered women. Tries to intimidate me and stuff. You see, so...
My God.
So what you see here is a cult. He is obviously... I think he's a cult. He's paying a fee to the police, but the police refuse double the money, so that means other people are paying the police as well. They have a racket. So these murders, people are getting away with the murders for free. And there's probably bodies in the basement.
Your story, I understand it, and it does seem to make sense, but there is no way that we can prove that Walter Robson is being funded by a cult, by just those initials. There's no way.
Of course not, no. And my statement would be nothing against the policemen, even though, I'm a respectable person of society, but all the same, it would mean nothing. So...
Still, if he threatened you, you need to be careful, all of you. If you think that this police precinct is linked to a cult, then the cult could have eyes on you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have to shoot them. But what we have to do first is go in the basement. Oh, you know what I'm saying. So we have to go in the basement. We have to know what is down there.
I am a reporter. I tend to take things quite literally, if that's how people phrase them. I really hope there's no sort of turf war.
Please don't take anything literal she says. She's not from around here.
Maybe is it a French phrase? Maybe, yeah, I suppose.
A figure of speech, yes, definitely.
He's
right.
a photographer.
Oh, you're a photographer. Oh, well, now that would be useful.
Yes, I have my camera right here always. Oh no, that's my gun. Here.
I mean, if you can possibly get pictures, that would be good. But no. What am I saying? I don't want you to risk any more really than you have. But like I said, if you do want to talk to some people, they are there. Maybe you'll be able to find something out. There is. Oh, go on, sir. Go on.
Yeah, perhaps we can get some pictures of him coming to pick up his bribe money on a weekly basis.
Yes, or perhaps he sends somebody else to do it for him. There is. I've not really said this so far because she is a bit reluctant. She doesn't really trust people anymore, as you can probably imagine. But there is also Mrs. Adams. Millie Adams.
If she was involved in who's the first name of the man in jail?
Hilton. She can testify for her husband.
Yeah, if she was involved in Hilton's investigations, then sure. But it's what he knows is going to be most useful to us.
Sure. She wasn't involved in the watch, but she, of course, she knows him very well, so perhaps. But yes, if you'd rather go down that line of inquiry, then that is up to you.
Arthur, am I crazy, or is this what I'm saying making sense to you too?
Well, this is it. To me, it mostly makes sense. Maybe some of it might be exaggerated, but then we are going to need proof. especially if it's going to go to the papers.
I was interested to hear Arthur and Johan. Am I making sense to you too?
Yeah, I mean, you don't get picked up and threatened by a policeman every day of the week, do you? So there's something going on there. He's obviously defending this guy from the Juju house for some reason.
Well, that is clear. That is the paid link that we found in the ledger. So to us, it's clear we don't have evidence, but it is clear why. The question is whether the cult connection is right.
Seeing the knife, there's something funny about the knife. This guy's been a thorn in our side and was nowhere near the murder. I mean, with no real evidence to pick him up, then he was just a fool guy. With him being in payment to this guy house, and I think that fits together quite well.
But we need proof. We need proof to save him.
The only thing I can think of is what is in that basement, because we do not know, and they wanted to hide it.
And the ledger.
I'm asking as a player, not as Arthur, but do we have undeniable proof of the amounts that Francoise saw were from the shop to WR14 and not the way around?
Well, in terms of what Francoise read, yes, there were numbers of $50 or $60.
Yeah, we don't actually.
But are we sure that those were monies going out from the shop to said WR14 and not the other way around?
Well, there'll be if it's a ledger,
there was definitely money getting taken out. But Rebecca says, even if we say take the ledger or take a photo of the ledger, it's still not going to be enough proof, especially if it is the police. They're obviously going to want to cover that up as much as possible. We need to do more. We need to have
photograph from opposite every day with the day's date on the newspaper visible, and have a policeman in shot every Monday, Tuesday.
Perhaps. But what's so strange, it doesn't fit the pattern, is suddenly your friend is murdered all the way down in Chelsea, and then Lieutenant Bull has to pick up the pieces.
It is not the location. Our friend was investigating too. I think I was just threatened. My friend probably was threatened also.
You think he was investigating this cult?
Almost certainly, knowing him.
Yeah, he investigates cults.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe he knew of Dr. Lemming.
Well, we do have a meeting with his publisher coming up soon, and he has left some papers behind with him, so we should know more after that meeting.
Right.
We are not aware of him knowing this doctor, but maybe he did.
Right. Well, if you don't mind, I'll make a few notes of our conversation and see if I can maybe do a little bit of lead searching myself. In the meantime, you know where I am, and she gives you like another business card. I have a phone on my desk as well if you need to contact me. And if you can do anything, this may turn things around completely for Mr. Adams.
Hopefully.
Arthur, you haven't given me your opinion on what I said. Do you agree? Do you have more to add on it?
Well, like I said,
I was talking to Arthur.
Oh, we're talking to me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that we accidentally stumbled across something bigger than we thought. So we thought it was a little stone, but it was a massive rock lying underneath. So I think we should gather as much info as possible before taking the next step.
Well, I think we all suspected it was something to do with the book he was researching, his next book, but I don't think we expected it to be here in New York.
No, really did not. Oh, you say in English. That escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, we don't really know what triggered the attack on Jackson.
No.
Also, the dark sects of Africa may be a good starting point, being Silas from Kenya.
Could be. So we can either research this the book way.
I'm sorry?
We can either research this the book way, or we break a law and look in the basement.
Again. Also, I don't think that breaking the law in a place where we were specifically asked not to go would be the right way to go. Not just now. I mean, we got plenty of other inquiries to follow. So
This
I
is a good
suggest
point.
we get information first.
I must say, it's only Francoise that's been asked not to go there.
I was the one that was caught by the police.
Yes, but the rest of us should be able to get.
Next time, give me warning before you do crime.
We should be able to get in and out of Harlem quite.
You should wait on the neighborhood perimeter,
It-
just outside. I'm not in Harlem.
The problem.
Just looking,
What?
With my camera.
just to piss them off. Exactly.
Obviously, it's going to be much more difficult because not only are we trying to stay at the site of the cult, we've also got to do the same with the police because they're against us as well. Obviously,
But but we should keep the detective on side, so we should see him in the time we've got between now and seeing that woman.
maybe we have a bit of a trump card with as well. If the police aren't aware of Winston, he should be able to go in and out of Harlem and keep the place under surveillance quite inconspicuously.
Yeah, that may be one of the ways to go.
Are you saying all this while you're in her office, or are you kind of leaving at this point?
Yeah, we're done with her. I
Yeah,
think.
Okay.
supposed to be leaving,
In that
yes.
case, before you go, she sets up. Well, she says she'll sort out an appointment to see Adams probably tomorrow because it's quieter on Sundays, so it's a bit easy to get in. So she'll contact you with a time, and she also gives you an address of a coffee shop where Hilton's friends who were part of the watch with him tend to convene at a lot.
Okay, if you need to contact me, either me or my cops will be at the Waldorf Astoria.
You do have a very French sense of humor, ma'am. Okay, yeah. So you head on back to the Waldorf Astoria just in time for lunch. What am I doing? Sorry. There we go.
Well, actually, rather than the Waldorf Astoria, I'd quite like to go to the detective that wanted to speak to us.
Oh, Paul. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, not a problem.
because I think we actually want to keep him on side and not avoid him.
Okay. As long as the rest of you are happy with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see him
Good
now.
with me.
Okay, I'll just get the other cop up.
Also, we might be able to press him for some info on that other cop.
Okay.
I think we've got the police department on our side if we can.
Yeah,
Always nice,
it's
isn't
bad enough
it?
it's bad enough having one precinct afterwards. Let's not make it two.
Always good. Okay, so you head on down back to Chelsea, and he's sort of in the middle of something. You see him come past with a coffee, of course, and he says, "Oh, I was expecting at least a call, but fine. Yeah, I'll see you in a moment. If you wouldn't mind just taking a seat in there, please."
Certainly. A pleasure to see you today.
You don't see him react or anything, but then his complexion's a bit kind of all the time. Okay. So he then takes you in, kind of like before, fairly sort of not communal, but he kind of gets you in a larger interview room, so you're all seated. although you can see like it's still busy today. Maybe not as busy as last time you were in here. Right, yes. So for now, I'll keep you all together. Although you never know, I might need to talk to you individually. But well, what have you been up to? Have you seen any sights whilst you've been here?
I saw my friend's funeral.
Yes, we had that dubious pleasure, but
Uh-huh.
Went to a shop in Ireland, got falsely accused of robbing it.
Right, okay.
It was an experience.
Yes, I imagine it was. He looks a little concerned, but he's thinking. You get the impression he's sort of brushing it off a bit because, you're a tourist. You're probably just a misunderstanding. But he does indeed get out the Elias file, and he says, "Now look, we've had a good search of Mr. Elias's room, and what you told me, I'm not so happy about. Okay, I know that you're not telling me everything. All right, we found bullets coming from the direction of the front door.
I hand over my gun. There you go. This is my gun. It has not fired a shot.
the door of the room, you're saying?
Yes, the hotel room. The murderers didn't have any guns. They had knives.
But was he shot?
He was not shot.
It's not a problem, then, is it?
Well, it is a problem because you told me that you had not been inside the room.
We were.
In fact, we were not.
Francoise was in the lobby the whole time. You could check with the receptionist.
We also found extra fingerprints. And we found a trail of blood heading out onto the fire escape, which means somebody very recently, either before or after the murderers were there, probably before, or maybe even during, shot them from the door. So, I'm going to give you one chance. I know not all of you are here, but I'm going to give you one chance to tell me the truth.
Well, as I say, we've already...
Did you go in the room?
No.
No.
But I wonder if somebody had, do you think maybe if they were black, if they were worried, they would get pinned on them? So they maybe said nothing even though they were a hero?
I want to hear it from all of you.
You don't think that Jackson is the one that shot them, and they, after he killed them, they took the gun with them?
Oh yeah, that could also be true.
Like you said, you wanted these guys on your side.
That's true.
We wanted him close, not to piss us off, not on our side.
I'm going to tell you, or ask you, nicely one more time. Did any of you go into Mr. Elias's room? And he looks at each of you in turn. Can I each get you to make me a roll?
No,
Let's.
no.
I'm just trying to think. Let's go for a power roll.
Power. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Could we bear in mind I wasn't in the room?
Yeah, but he doesn't know
21
that.
out of 60.
Oh.
Oh.
Extreme.
Ooh.
Just hard for me.
I failed.
Extreme hard.
But you were in the room.
Okay.
failed. I'm sorry. It was him. It was him.
Was it?
How much is your power overall, Johan?
My power is 70.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Okay. So
That's why I was surprised.
I got 60.
okay. In that case, just describe what you say, because he's not making you feel scared or intimidated. although you can tell that his voice is obviously rising.
Well, I mean, what can I say? I mean, Francoise and myself we were in the lobby. There was a commotion outside, which we investigated, but we didn't go in the room.
What about you, Doctor?
I'm not a doctor.
He looks at Arthur.
How can I be serious? How can I be serious?
Because if you don't come clean, I know what's in your rooms. Your friend, who interestingly isn't here, he went shopping for quite a lot of bullets, I noticed, stacked away in his cupboard. Don't you find that a bit suspicious?
No.
And
I got to know
those
it, it's
fingerprints, we
Yes.
can always get them tested and see if they're a match.
Please do.
We can go down that route. Okay. We will go down that route. So he gets some cops in and just sort of separates off individually. And your fingerprints are all taken.
Oh, but please, this is dirty.
So
The sirens are out,
I mean,
literally from my window. They're coming to get me. And they know that I lied to a fictional police officer.
Okay, so your fingerprints are taken. And you're then taken off separately to rather sort of much more confined, dank, individual interview rooms. There's at least 2 other cops in each room that are sort of keeping guard to make sure that you don't try and make a move. And basically, Paul, whenever he comes into each of your rooms, he comes in all guns blazing. So I'm not going to kind of describe exactly how it goes because it's a long and arduous process for all of you. But I'll give you a minute or so to give a spiel of, do you tell him the truth? I'm looking at you in particular, Arthur, or do you keep on floundering your little story?
I'm pretty sure that you won't find my fingerprints in the room since Winston did all the searching. Because I went downstairs to call the others. So I'm pretty I'm pretty confident about that. But as about the shooting, as long as he doesn't ask for my gun, I tend not to say that I shot some people.
I did forget to mention he does ask for your guns.
Shit.
Like, he asks for the bullets in the guns.
Shit.
So what I'll say
Alright.
is, he does that during the fingerprint stuff. So all that stuff is done, and then you're taken into your rooms. So
okay, so first bullets from all of us, is it?
yeah, he makes sure he has at least 1 bullet from each of your guns, so he can potentially do a match. You think?
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I'll tell him the truth, also because I'm shit at lying, if I recall correctly.
Okay, just out of interest, what do the rest of you do?
I tell him the truth as relevant to me, which really doesn't incriminate
Yeah,
me or
sure,
even
yeah.
Arthur, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't there.
Okay.
We have no real way of knowing who shot that bullet because unless they told us afterwards. But
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what I'll say is, in particular with Arthur, so there's some quite burly officers in there. They've got their hand on sort of truncheons and they're looking quite threatening, and maybe it all comes a bit too much for you. So yeah, you kind of spill, yes, I was in there. And Poole does this big sort of sigh, as if you've lifted a giant weight off his shoulders. And he says, I don't know what it is with you English and your stiff upper lip, but why the hell didn't you just tell me that the first time? Huh? Do you know how much paperwork that could have saved me? Do you know how much running around that could have saved me? What the hell is wrong with you?
That's what's bothering you, the paperwork.
You've obviously never been a cop before.
No, but I've been in the army.
God damn it.
Yes, that was less paperwork, I believe. Also, you can't really blame a foreigner for not telling a police officer.
Just shut up. Just shut up and sit, right? So he kind of sits down. He even passes the coffee over. And he says, okay, right, so you told me that you went in. There were these other people. How many people were in the room?
There were, beside Jackson's body,
Besides
other
Jackson?
three people.
Three people. Okay.
Two
Have you
black
got
people and
descriptions?
one white people. One
Okay.
person. Sorry.
Okay. Anything, any distinguishing features about them? Anything you can remember?
They were all handling large knives.
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah, about
if
yay
found,
big?
yeah, like machetes.
Like machetes. Uh-huh. Okay.
Machetes. I believe that if found, they may resemble the cuts, the slashes on Jackson's body. Just a second.
Just in case you've forgotten, they all also had that long red fabric or ribbon thing tied around their heads.
All right, I totally forgot about it. Yeah, so I tell him that. Also because I don't recall anything else in particular.
And let me get this straight. As they ran out, you tried to shoot at them.
They had masks on their faces, I wrote.
Yeah, they didn't have masks. They just had this sort of long, almost like Rambo. They had like a big long strip of fabric around their head that was kind of trailing off. But no masks.
Okay, I'm just editing my memories and my notes.
Your memories.
Or
Let me edit your memories.
all right.
And
Yeah,
you
so
tried to
basically-
shoot at them as they ran out, right?
I shot one of them,
Okay.
but I wasn't able to follow him because he was running down the staircase, the fire
escape.
exit, fire escape.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck if I
Okay.
recall how it's called.
Okay.
Fire escape,
So
yes.
what you're saying is that you shot one of them, which means that they are potentially going to be wounded.
You found the blood on the fire escape, so yes, they
Mhm.
definitely are.
I know, but I'm asking you. Okay. Was anybody else in the room with you?
No,
So you don't tell them about Winston.
of course I don't.
Okay.
Coming clean doesn't mean that anybody else should do 25 years
Okay.
to life sentence.
Okay. You see, I know that you may have thought, oh no, the police are gonna catch me because I shot at a man. But look, if this turns out to be his killers, which it sounds like they are, then we can easily write off you shooting at them as self-defense or something similar, right? But you gotta tell me the truth, okay? I'm supposed to be on your side. I'm supposed to be protecting you. Especially if they know that you knew Mr. Elias, you know, it might be after you.
Or Mr. Greene.
The fourth one, the one who isn't here today.
Yes.
Where is he actually?
Is
Mr. Bullet Man.
He's laying ill in bed.
Oh. I see. In the hotel.
Hopefully watching a stream about the game that he missed.
He doesn't have to. It's method acting if he doesn't. All right. Well, hopefully this has made you learn a few things today. And I have no more questions for you for now, Mr. Dibden. And
I
you're
do
free to
have a
go.
question for you, sir, before leaving, if I'm allowed to.
Yes, you are free to go.
All right. Can I ask a question first?
Yes, you can ask me a question.
What can you tell me about the 14th precinct, the Harlem one?
What? As in the place, the
As
cops?
in, you know the people.
Can you make me either? Well, it's any kind of social role. So charm, fast talk, or persuade, whichever you prefer.
I guess I'll go with persuade because I suck at everything else. That's at 25 out of 40.
Okay, so regular.
So I'm
pass.
getting slightly better.
And that's persuade. Okay.
Yes.
He looks a bit reluctant to tell you much. He says, "Well, I know you're curious, but also I have my job to do. I have certain things that are classified to civilians. You're not a cop."
Yeah. Yeah, sure, but I'm just asking about your colleagues, not their methods, not the cases they're following.
Well, the head of the precinct is Captain Walter Robson.
I know that. How is he?
You just told me
As
you
a,
weren't
as a
going to
person.
ask about his methods.
No, as a person. Do you trust him? Do you believe he's a trustworthy individual, for example? He's a good cop? He's a bad cop? I mean, I've been in the army. There were good generals and bad generals. There were good infantry and bad infantry.
I thought
There
you were a
were.
surgeon, not a psychologist.
I'm a medic.
Maybe psychology.
Oh fuck. That's another 25 out of another 40. Regular pass.
Okay, yeah, okay. He kind of tries to keep it, and he's not saying much, but you know that he knows something. Maybe he's spoken to Robson recently, or he knows he's not quite as legitimate. Something you know that he doesn't want to say because you're not an officer, you're
All
not a
right.
detective.
Yes, sure. I trust we will be on the same side either way, whether you're responding or not.
Yeah, look, I have my opinions, okay, about whoever I work with, but you got to understand, I'm a professional man.
Is it because of your colleagues in here, isn't it?
Well, one of them keeps filling his coffee and then not filling up the water again, but apart from that, no.
All right. Well, you know where to find us, nonetheless.
But having said that, if you maybe want to speak to him, because in terms of your friend, whilst obviously I am covering his case because he passed in my precinct, Robson has dealt with a lot of murders like that in the past.
No, okay. I missed the step. Who followed this kind of cases before?
Robson. He's basically reaffirming what you already knew from Schoenberg, although obviously he doesn't know that you went to speak to Schoenberg.
I surely will, sooner than later. So, thank you, Lieutenant.
You're very welcome. I may need to speak with you again.
Again,
But if
you
I
know where to
do,
find me.
yeah. But if I do, please don't be so difficult next time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll save you a little bit more paperwork next time.
Get out of here. Get out of here. And the rest of you go. I can see the cigarette in your mouth, so let's take a break there.
Thank you very much. See you in a bit.
Ah, the entitled Brit. I wasn't there.
Somewhat worrying. The GM's last words to me in person before we went back to our computers was, "That's going to cost you."
As in, for context, her going all Karen on the captain.
Like I said, it'll flush them out for the survivors to go deal with.
I doubt if he was expecting that, was he?
You have the French hot-headedness in you.
Mm-hmm. Parisian, don't take shit.
My throat is really swollen up.
What you need to do is relax the muscles here, and then and then you could take anything down there.
Yes. Mommy, what's the champagne room?
It's where the mayor goes. Yeah, the mayor,
Oh, yeah, the
football
mayor.
players,
Athletes, celebrities, parents.
It's a reference to Good Girls. I just started watching the new series.
I haven't seen that.
I keep hearing a phone going in my left ear.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, it's you.
I've turned everything off, though. I don't know why it's still doing it.
Well, I knew it was one of you two because you both have iPhones.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's just the same.
No
It just
iPhone.
has an iPhone chime.
No iPhone. No iPhone. I don't understand why it's still doing it.
The last one as per usual.
That's because you haven't got an iPhone, Phil. You just got the sound effect. iPhone theme for Android.
Oh, 10 to 10 already.
Welcome back, Giorgio.
Welcome back, Mr. I'm not going to tell the cop the truth.
Come on. It seems trustworthy. Also, if he dies in our place. That's
Oh,
a
I
win-win.
see. Well,
It's a bit awkward for us, though, isn't it? Because we're mostly sort of like foreign nationals who shoot at American citizens, or very possibly. Guns we're really allowed to be carrying.
well, I have written up some backup characters. Just in case.
For when we get arrested, go to the chair for it.
Well, I wasn't sure if I would need them, but I mean,
Definitely need one.
you can tell from my reactions, you're certainly getting warmer. Okay, so next thing on your list, although you actually haven't got that much time to get up for the appointment, is Erica.
Yes.
Right, yeah. I think on the taxi ride up to our place, we need to discuss how we're going to handle that.
Yes, you get changed whilst in the taxi. A bit like Mr. Bean going to the dentist. But yes, discuss away.
This is just the meeting. This isn't the formal.
Yeah, it's still going to be quite formal given who she is. But yes, this is a meeting to discuss things with her.
Yeah.
And then her soiree is on Tuesday.
Did we not think the actual going for the finishing her brother's work was a good idea?
I don't think finishing her brother's work, but see, think about what she wants. She wants the answers to her brother's death. So I think we should take that approach. We should use that. We
Do
know she
leave
wants
the
it, we should give it
Jacksons?
her.
Do we leave the Jacksons' names out of it?
He may have contacted her, and it may be a burnt bridge, it may be a happy bridge, we do not know.
A happy bridge.
I don't know.
Yes, it could go either way. It could be a foot in the door. It might not be.
Or maybe we wait if she mentions him.
We could say our friend was killed by a cult, and we think it might be the same one as killed a brother.
Yeah, maybe.
We don't even know a cult killer brother, do we? I mean,
No, but if it is in any way connected, as we think it is, then it is likely. And she may know more than what is in the press. As she went out to investigate herself.
Yeah. Do we want to lay all that out? Do we?
Well,
What are we going
I
to say?
don't think we should lead with there is a cult in New York and they own the Harlem police. I think that would be straight out the door. But if we talk about a cult in the African context, she probably, because her brother was killed out there, and I think she will know about the cult, I think that would not be a bad idea.
All right, we may go that way and see where we end up.
Okay, just to clarify, are you going all the way in a taxi? Or,
What?
A vehicle?
How you said train, didn't you?
Well, I suggested train, and I said that the concierge could sort of tell you where the station is. But yeah, it's about an hour away. So
Taxi, train, taxi.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah. So
Or subway, train, taxi, whatever it is.
yeah.
Easier.
Don't know off the top of my head, I'm afraid. It's a very confusing rail system. Having traversed it myself once. But yes, indeed. Half an hour rather than an hour, but north of New York City, so it still takes you a bit of time to get out. But
Can't be that confusing. They've only got one train. A train. Sorry.
yes, so it's basically this mansion, which it's known as sort of the Carlisle Mansion or the Carlisle Estate. It's on the Hudson River, but a much nicer part of the Hudson River. It hasn't got all the dirt and pollution from inside the city. As you sort of start seeing it on the highway, you also see a glimpse of, you think, could be Sing Sing Prison a bit further up. It's certainly not a house or anything like that. It looks like it could be a prison. But yeah, as you get towards grounds and so on, it's huge. So you think the place is 3 stories, several acres at least, lots of sort of nice trimmed bushes and things, lots of protection as well, so big high fences, things like that, with lots of sort of sharp edges on them and so on. As you go in, you can also see that there are various armed men, some of them even with dogs. She obviously has the money to hire a lot of muscle to keep her safe. But you are sort of taken in. You see a guard sort of peering through into the car and checking each of your names, a bit like if you go, I don't know, across the border when your passports are checked. But obviously, your passports aren't checked. But yes, they communicate with the household, and you are greeted at the door by one of the servants who takes you into a drawing room where you're met by Bradley Gray, who is the person in your correspondence.
Mm-hmm.
After he sort of exchanges pleasantries with you, You are taken to a larger room. I've just noticed my name is a bit over the top, but yeah, Bradley is the guy down that
Oh, yeah.
that one there, the one with the mustachio. You're taken down to a larger room where you see Erica and also a rather sturdy-looking man just nearby, who is the other man up there. He doesn't say anything to you, but he watches you. And Erica, she's actually busy reading. She notices you come in. You are, whether you're attracted to women or not, fictionally, you are still astounded by her beauty. She is incredibly charismatic in both how she's dressed, how she does her hair, and also just the presence she has in the room. She looks a bit almost like she doesn't particularly want you to be here, but she's happy to still have a bit of time. And she sort of huffs a bit and says, "Ah, you are the group, I believe, who wanted to speak with me. 30 minutes tops."
I see.
She calls to some servants to get some refreshments.
Oh, Fräulein Carlyle, Johan Broom, very pleased to meet you, and thank you for giving us your time.
You'll be quite shocked as to how many men say that to me every day.
How sort of old is she?
Mid-20s, you think?
Okay, so she's but she's sort of at the head of the family. She's in charge of the whatever estate that her brother left now, is she?
You get that impression, yeah. She's definitely the head of the household, yes.
Okay.
Bradley, he also sits down, kind of adjacent to Erica. He's not a servant by any means, but he kind of he's a bit pandering towards her. It's a little bit kind of bootlickery, like, yes, Miss Carlyle, no, Miss Carlyle, that kind of thing.
Condescending.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the guy, if you ever sort of watch him, who is very much watching you, you think he might be a bodyguard of some kind. He's got a very broken nose. Like, he's obviously many fights. He is a big guy, like taller than any of you, even you, Arthur, and much bulkier. So, I suppose you said something, Bradley. They said something about the expedition, right? You wanted to ask me about that.
We think our friend was killed by the same people that killed your brother.
She slowly puts down her drink. You think it's like a cocktail or something. You mind me asking who you are, your backgrounds, what made you decide to come and tell me this information?
Oui, this is Arthur Dibden. He is a soldier. This is Johan Braun. He is, I can't remember.
A professor of languages.
That's right.
As well. Professor of languages, ex-soldier.
And I am Francoise Pelletier. I am a photographer and daughter of the French military attaché to Peru. But
She raised her eyebrow at that a little bit. Can you give me a credit rating, Francoise?
yeah, you want the number or you want to roll?
An actual roll.
Oh boy, nope. Peru's a peasant country.
Yeah, you think that she thinks
If it had been somewhere important.
yeah, exactly. It's not important.
But these things are not important compared to how we met and how it might tie into possibly your brother. We met on an expedition as we had an adventure in the mountains of Peru.
So you like to go off on wild goose chases as well, do you?
Ours was less of a goose chase. It was a successful expedition, but also on that trip was a friend of ours who has since been killed. We think he was trying to do your brother's expedition to learn about it, and we think he uncovered more than he should have.
Who was that? Was it a woman?
No. It was a gentleman called Jackson Elias. Have you been in contact? Have you heard of him at all? He's quite a well-known author in certain circles.
She looks at Bradley, and Bradley says, "I think he may have sent a telegram at some point. I don't really remember."
Probably researching. He's quite a well-known author. Travels all over.
So what on earth has this got to do with my brother? You think that this friend of yours, Elias, was researching into the same sort of things?
We think, well, we know he was researching your brother's expedition, and he had said to us that he had found something and wanted us to meet him to tell us, and he was going to have another expedition, should we say? But at least that's what we think. But he was killed. We think he was killed by the same people that likely killed your brother. So we were hoping we could, if it did not open too many wounds, you could maybe tell us what was not in the press and maybe what you know of the cult behind it.
Wow. And she looks tired of the fact that you're there and that you're kind of pressing these questions. She sort of throws her arms a bit and says, "Obviously, I'm a very influential woman, but I do not have influence over African press. My brother died several years ago, as you know, and it sounds like you've read the papers from how they reported it, but I don't know who else could have done it. Sometimes I think, okay, was there somebody else involved? One thing I do think, that that woman who, I don't know if your friend knew her, she had a lot of influence over my brother, and we never found her. So whether she was involved or not, I don't know, but I think about it a lot."
Is that was it a photographer woman? I think I read.
No, that was Miss Masters. Hypatia Masters. No, I'm talking about a Negro. That Negro woman Bonet. And she looks really quite angry even mentioning her.
No, we've not come across her, I'm afraid.
No, her name is news to me.
We know, Miss Carlyle, that all of this should be exaggeratedly painful on your behalf. And I'd like to apologize beforehand for pressing this kind of questions. But since we believe that these two tragedies may be linked somehow, I'd like to ask more about what about this lady you're talking about sounded less sit less well with you, beside the obvious influence you said this woman had over your brother.
I still don't understand what on earth your friend has found, but yes, this woman, this Negro woman, she came over from Africa, obviously a few years ago. I'm not sure exactly when. She got to know my brother very well. At one point, he was completely infatuated with her. She was a very bad influence on him. Anyone can make me psychology at this point if you like.
Coming.
That is a pass, regular pass.
Hard pass.
Say psychology.
Yes.
Yes, it's a hard pass.
Oh, okay. So, obviously, she's coming across as pretty racist, and you're not sure if she's like this just all the time or with this specific woman. But, yeah, you definitely think that it's been something that's kind of been bubbling, and there's been lots of tension over the past few years. Almost as if maybe Erica has seen the downfall of her brother, or the things that happened towards his downfall, and she obviously thinks this woman's behind it.
Is this woman in America, or was she
I
on
don't
the
know.
Lost in
expedition?
the expedition.
She went with them, of course. That was part of the whole thing. Ever since she got to know Roger, he wanted to get this expedition together. He got a few others, as again I'm sure you've read in the papers. They all went off, and for a while, to be honest, I let him. I played along because I would hope that eventually, even if he was in the middle of the Sahara, he would realize how stupid he'd been. But obviously, it didn't quite go the way I expected. And like I said, this woman, Bonet, she obviously played a big part in this expedition. And perhaps she was behind his murder as well. But they never found her body, and they didn't find, well, I say they didn't find her body. We technically couldn't determine anybody's bodies because they were so, and she gets a little, like, you can see her lip trembling a bit.
But
So
it is okay.
You don't have to. You don't have to go into details too much.
I thank you. And you see, actually, Bradley almost kind of sincerely, not in a creepy way, but sincerely puts his hand on her leg and just sort of taps it. There, Miss Carlyle. Nothing to worry about.
As a player again, because I don't want to have missed something, but did you say that Mr. Carlyle found this girl in Africa, or she found her in America and then take her with
America,
him?
Yeah,
then
she came
expedition.
over. Yeah, she came over to Africa,
All right.
started getting to know him, and then they all decided to go on this expedition together.
It came over to America, you mean?
So this woman,
They met in America.
Yeah, she came over to America. They met each other. Went over to Africa. Or
Basically, what Eric is saying is none of the actual bodies were identified.
well, this is it. They weren't, and the authorities were very keen to point the finger on some savages. Which, yes, it could have been them, but I don't know. This woman was incredibly crafty, clever, you might even say.
We think it may be a cult. Did your brother ever visit a shop in Harlem that you are aware of?
I mean, he. Don't you know who he was? He was a playboy. He went everywhere and anywhere.
Yeah, but we do know that there are some parts of certain towns where wealthy people don't usually go.
Oh, he definitely vacates all the wealthy places. I mean,
I look at Mr. Gray while we say
Yeah,
this
sure.
thing. just to catch some reactions on his behalf. Because we don't actually know if he followed all the family affairs or just the Arukaz ones.
Actually,
Yeah, he seems quite neutral about everything. You're not sure how far back he goes in terms of his job.
All right.
this can perhaps be answered another way. Does he have any African relics in his personal effects that predate the expedition?
Well, now that you mention it, I don't know if they're African, but he does have, or did have, a couple of books that I kept behind, and she gets Corey to look at the time for her. I suppose I do have a few more moments if you wish to have a glance at these.
Yes, if the titles would be good to know.
Yes, they'd certainly be interesting.
Hmm. Yes, well, she sort of pats herself down gracefully, gets up from her sort of nice set of chairs and so on, takes you over to the library, and my god, is this a big fucking library. It is huge. There are various different sections, books going up sort of 50, 60 feet almost, with balconies and all that stuff. There's billiards even, there's drinking cabinets, all sorts. But anyway, she takes you over to a section of books. One book of which seems to kind of stick out a bit, like it's very fat compared to the other books. She takes the book out, and if any of you look at it or glance at it, you can see it's a book by Edgar Allan Poe. It's a selection of his poetry. But she gives it to Corey to hold and just says, "Hold this." And then she reaches her hand behind where the book was and does something, and you hear a mechanism. And then the other 4 or 5 books next to them open up to reveal a safe behind, to which she tells you all to stand away, and she twists and twists and and let me just quickly double check. There are 4 books in this safe, and I will write them in here.
Is it all the ones we're looking for?
This is Masks of Nyarlathotep. It's not that easy. So the first one is the Narcotic Manuscripts. French book, Sélection de livres vivants.
A what?
Didn't get that.
I put it in the chat for you.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, the
Sélection
public
de
chat.
livres vivants.
Narcotic.
Oh,
shit.
oops. Sorry, I've been putting it in.
Oh, that's okay. It gives our audience a chance to view it too. Hello, Steve.
There's also Amongst the Stones.
These books are thick.
They are quite thick, yes. And finally, Life as a God.
All right, I'm just copy and pasting because I'm dumb.
I feel a burning desire to read these books and learn everything he knew.
Mr. Miss Carlyle, you have your next appointment very soon. Oh, yes, of course. I'm afraid.
Don't worry, man. We are going. Thank you very much for your time, and sorry if we bothered you somehow.
You did not. It was an appointment.
Thank you kindly. If we ever hear more news of what happened, would you like to be telegraphed?
You can ask that of Mr. Gray next week.
Merci, au revoir.
She puts the books back in the safe, closes it, or rather, she gets Joe to kind of finish it off, and you are escorted off the premises.
Well, that was revealing, I think. But there are now so many books we need to read, and we can't get any of them.
We may at the soiree, maybe.
We are not
That's
invited.
that.
You want to break in? And crack
No.
a safe?
I don't think
There
that.
are men there.
Shit.
I would rather break into Harlem. At least then you only fight the police force.
Hopefully they won't shoot us on sight. Well, I don't know any of these books, so I suppose we should ask Winston next time.
Yeah, more books for the library.
What other leads? So tomorrow we have appointment with
We have an appointment with his publisher and an appointment with his lawyer.
No, that is
Before
Monday.
that- yeah, before that, you're going up to Sing Sing.
Yeah. But for now, I think we are out of appointments. So, whilst we are not in a hotel where people who want to kill us know where we are, let us have a meal out on the town.
We have what?
Well, we pay money and we go to a restaurant. For God's sake, we are in New York. Let's eat an apple.
Yes.
Fine by me.
Yeah. So you have a nice time out. Maybe Upper East Side, something like that. Bit of a nicer area.
Yeah. And then we need to find out more about these books. But the library won't be open at the weekend anyway, will it?
No, there won't be even anyone to contact at university.
Even somewhere like the New York Library, maybe they've got restricted passes, for the weekend, but not so public.
Even calling the university, I believe we won't get any replies during the
Yeah.
weekend.
Not in 1925.
No. People were praying at the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Sabbath and everything.
Uh-huh.
So let's go to prison instead.
Yes, I was going to say, anything else you want to do before you get a telegram confirming your appointment at Sing Sing?
Yes, but we can't do it. All the other things.
Okay. So you are sent a telegram by Rebecca saying that she's arranged for you to go in the afternoon, Sunday afternoon, to Sing Sing prison.
Is it still Saturday or we slipped to Sunday?
That would be Sunday.
Yeah.
All right.
So no sanity loss for now. Okay. Sunday the 18th.
I don't think there's anything else we want to do on the Sunday because, everywhere's shut.
It will be, everywhere will be shut.
So we'll just wait for events to happen to us until we go to Sing Sing.
The only thing we could do maybe is go past that shop in Holland.
Or, we could try and stay alive.
We could do.
Probably the thing to do if we really want to stay alive is move to another hotel. But as this is the best one, I don't really want to.
There's still nice hotels. It is New York, but you are definitely staying in the nicest one.
You can take a different room under a different name.
In fact, you find out, because you're staying there a few nights, there's like a little picture in one of the corridors of Roger Carlyle, because he'd celebrated his 21st birthday there.
Uh-huh.
Unsurprisingly, he definitely looks like a playboy, very kind of big jaw and like, oh, look at me, sort of thing. You can see the resemblance with his sister.
But no, I don't want to do the room under a different name because I did that in my last campaign and I refuse to repeat myself.
Hey, it was a good idea.
That's the only reason I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Otherwise, it becomes standard Cthulhu operating procedure, and at that point, your game is troped.
Okay. Do you check on Winston?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're trying
to
to see
see
what-
how is it doing.
He still has toothache.
That was a good result.
Well, it depends if you go in and talk to him or not.
Yeah,
Sure.
we'll go and talk to him, yeah. Checking if he wants anything.
You think he's? I mean, he's in a lot of pain, and he kind of moans to you that it's not just his teeth that are in pain, and you realize that someone's been in here. And
Can I check his pulse, his breath, his abdomen?
Yeah, don't forget to look for maggots.
His abdomen.
Yeah, I mean, he says he was actually hit there, but you don't see any maggots or markings or anything like that.
Do you see bruises? I don't
Yeah,
know.
you're starting to see a bit of a bruise come on his face.
Is it truncheon shaped?
Yeah, how many people were there?
Definitely blunt. You're not quite sure. He thinks there were a few, but he was he asked for a little something strong to help him take away the pain. So he was a little bit delirious, as in from reception. So he was a little bit delirious.
Could you
Yeah,
just
I'll
could you
look
describe it?
in my medic bag to see if I have something to give him.
I'm going
Or
to search.
otherwise, I'll go to the nearest pharmacy to get him some.
Yeah, that's
Since
fine.
I'm-
Either's fine.
I'm going to search the room, see if anything's been stolen.
No. I mean, you can do a good search if you want with spot hidden, but essentially you can't see anything significant.
Yeah.
Taken.
Let's do it. You never know, might even turn up a clue. Maybe the
Oh.
policeman dropped something and we'll find out it was the police that did it. That is a pass.
Yeah, you have a good look round. You think maybe the cupboard where he kept his stack of bullets has been looked at, maybe opened, but nothing has been taken from there. And same with everything else. You can't see anything has been taken.
Can he does he know what they wanted? Or can he describe any of them?
He well, actually, I'll do this on his sheet since I have it.
Sorry, Winston. It's the keeper's fault, not ours. We are so sorry.
Oh, where is he?
I mean, did they look like the people that were in Jackson's room, or
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's coming around quite well, and he basically says no. They were in uniform. They looked like cops.
Do you know if they were Harlem precinct? I think they were Harlem.
He doesn't know.
suspect it is a rough up from the person who owned that shop.
If Francoise gave a description of the I forgot what he's called now, Robson, would Arthur Dibden recognise him as the white guy from Jackson's room?
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, so Arthur, you don't think it looks like him. The guy you saw had brown hair for starters, and it was kind of, it wasn't like shaved, but it was a shorter cut, whereas Robson's hair kind of comes up a bit almost spiky.
All right.
What did the guy from the room look like? Did we have a description? I can't remember.
The problem is Winston and Arthur didn't see them for very long, but in terms of like build and things, again, different build to Robson. Robson's quite sort of sturdy, whereas this one looked more sort of slimmer.
He has sent his goons.
So, you managed to kind of give Winston some method of painkiller. I won't say painkiller because it didn't really exist back then, but and a nice couple of smokes as well, because smoking is good for you. And I guess leave him to it, really.
It would be cocaine.
And you head off to a Sing Sing prison. So, what am I up to? No.
Can we turn Winston into an addict while he's not here?
We could.
Can we?
I
Yes.
think that might be a little mean without discussing it with him first, but it's optional if everyone's in agreement with it.
Yeah,
But-
if we can get like about 2 weeks worth of game time to happen, we can give him enough doses of cocaine.
Wow.
We have to really rush the last half hour. We might screw the adventure up going that quick, but we can do it. Come on.
It's a fucking EVP. Wow. So anyway, moving swiftly on. So you head up to Sing Sing, which indeed was that building that you saw near the Carlisle estate. It looks like a fairly old building, sort of last century, but interestingly, there are different buildings in the complex. There's the main building, which you are taken through first and checked. But then in terms of where Adams is, he is down at a place called Old Sparky's, which is a building further down near the river. And as you may or may not have worked out, Old Sparky's is a direct reference to the electric chair. So let me just quickly find the no. Oh yeah, here we go. So it's another sort of brick building, this one, but like I said, further down the hill and also across some railroad tracks even as well. And there's like a subwarden there called George Brunton, who appears to be in charge of this facility. And he again checks you all. You get sort of patted down, weapons check, things like that, and your weapons are of course left at the entrance. And you are escorted to Adam's cell, and he says to you, "Okay, so 30 minutes. Here he is," and he doesn't let you into the room, but you can speak like through the bars. He also sort of has like a clipboard and stuff, and he says, "You may not exchange any items with the prisoner. Any attempts to do so will result in the interview's termination and your removal from the premises. Do you all understand this?"
Of course we do. Thank you.
Yes.
"If you speak about anything suspicious with the prisoner, then you will also be terminated from this interview and removed from the premises. Do you understand that?"
Beg your pardon, I didn't get you.
He's basically saying if you talk about suspicious stuff or whatever, then he'll.
All right.
What he does is he's in the corridor with you, but he steps further away, so at least you've got a bit of privacy. But as he sort of steps away, you see presumably Adams come forward in his cell, and he says with a wry smile, "I would shake your hand, but I don't think that would go down too well, eh, Mr. Brunton?" And you see Brunton sort of do a little smile back. But yeah, he's in the sort of stripy prisoner uniform. It's a very cramped room. Just a toilet, small desk, very uncomfortable looking bed. And he seems polite to you, definitely to start with, and he asks you who you are because obviously he's never met you before.
Well, we are Arthur, Jonah, and Francoise. We are acquaintances of a common friend, Miss Schosenberg.
Oh, the reporter.
Yes, indeed.
Are you part of her team? Are you on press as well?
No, we're not. But we were, let's say, touched by the same occurrences that brought you here wrongfully. You see, a friend of us was murdered.
My
The
condolences.
same way the others are. You are accused about. Is that accused? Yes. Is that the word?
As he kind of turns more solemn at the fact that Elias was killed, you can see how gaunt his face is. He's definitely malnourished. He's obviously been in here for a little while, at least a few months. Definitely past his prime. That is terrible news.
Well, we are here hoping that you may help us shed some light on what, if any, information you found during your neighborhood watch. If you found anything peculiar or out of the ordinary, something that may give us a lead to look into more than anything. We were given also contacts with some friends of yours and your wife. Still, we haven't spoken to any of them. We decided to come here first.
Mm-hmm. Millie has been through enough grief as it is. I'm happy for you to speak to her, but obviously I can't tell her in advance. So be gentle.
We surely will.
If my friends are who I think they are, which is the rest of the Hellcats, I mean, they have not been particularly good friends recently. But then I can see why if they tried to look into my framing further, they could well be in here with me. But yes, when I was doing the watch with them, we did uncover things that did seem strange, but nothing solid, unfortunately. So I don't know how much Rebecca told you, but I started it up because people were disappearing in the community. Male, female, young, old, didn't really matter. But sometimes it was a couple of people. Other times it was quite a lot. Maybe a small group of friends or something larger. And I got very worried about this. I spoke to the police, and maybe you don't quite understand, but they did not take me seriously. So I took matters into my own hands with my old friends from the regiment, and we set out to try and protect the community as much as we could. Granted, we did use weapons. We didn't ever need to use them, but we carried them. One being, essentially, I had like an army knife.
And it
and
was taken away from you. Was that right?
Yes. So, by the sounds of it, I was unfortunately in the wrong place at the wrong time, or the right place for them. I believe it was the 8th of these murders, where the police were patrolling. They'd obviously seen the body. They saw me. They seemed to put 2 and 2 together, whatever that was, and they cornered me and confiscated it. I found out later that they had used it as the murder weapon, and I've even heard rumors that they put the victim's blood on it to make it foolproof. But my knife was a bolo knife. From what Rebecca has told me, the murderers, they use longer ones. I think they're called pangas, some African type of weapon, almost like a machete. Whereas a bolo is not quite the same. If any of you have been in the army, and he looks at Johan and Arthur.
Yeah, of course we were.
Yeah.
You said that there was some strange things, but not concrete, and I am wondering if those are things that sound fantastical and impossible, but it would make more sense if that was the case to me.
Well, part of me wonders if the killers murdered the 8th person just to get me apprehended. They may have known about me and what I was doing, so they wanted to get rid of me. On the other hand, I did try and observe or try and put patterns together with the murders and with the disappearances. In terms of the disappearances, I noticed that they, especially the large amounts of people, they seem to happen about once a month.
Okay.
And something I did notice, one of my friends pointed it out to me, is it was always very dark, as if there was no moon or barely any moon. New moon, I think they call it, or no moon.
Was there any sort of areas you were concentrating on, or seemed particularly suspicious? Any particular streets, or was anything strange happening?
No, not particularly.
You didn't have your eye on any particular individuals for.
No, I mean Harlem's a big place, and the Irish tend to convene in one part, and we tend to go in another part. So it wasn't always easy to have a big circuit to survey, I suppose, if you want to call it that. So no, I don't think there's any pattern really to where, except for possibly this latest one, because they knew where I was.
Did you have any? Was there anything strange happen before you were arrested, or did you have any run-ins with anybody just before you were arrested? I mean, not like an hour before, maybe a day or so, 2 days.
No, not particularly. Although, actually, hold on. I've just had a thought. When with the bodies, rather than where they were, there was a place where they weren't. And that also includes the disappearances. There was a block of about West 137th Street between Lenox Avenue and the Harlem River.
Mm.
Is that
Apart,
what that shop is?
hold on a moment.
Also, what's the date in game?
Today's date,
The date in the game.
as in today's date in the game.
In the game, yeah.
It is the 18th of January. Hold on a moment.
So, 6 days to a new moon. That's how long before they kill me.
Yes.
You got 6 full days to live to the fullest.
Yes, the address is indeed the same, and he is saying that there didn't appear to be any disappearances or murders that took place
No.
there.
Because one does not cheat on one's own doorstep.
Where were the bodies found?
Where or when?
Where?
All over, but not in that spot around the shop.
Right, like I said, all over. Some even spilled out a little further afield. And Brunton told me about the Chelsea one, which I assume was your friend's, which is very, very strange, very far away from where their usual haunts were.
Yes, but it is not a matter of location. Other than if you're killing randomly, don't do it on your own doorstep.
So you think that the head of operations is in this empty block?
I wouldn't call it empty. I know which shop it is, but I don't know if I'd call it head of operations. But yes, I'm now convinced I know who it is. And also, our friend had that name too, so that explains why he was killed.
Well, that is interesting because I did try and keep an eye out in that area until the police came for him, came for me even, sorry. And I didn't really manage much time. I watched the place for a couple of hours. I did see somebody leave the shop who you perhaps might want to track down. African, shaven head, muscular.
Is he describing the shop owner?
Oh, Jesus, no.
No?
He's short,
The
old, and
shop
wrinkled.
owner is old as fuck.
Alright.
Yeah, Silas is like 75.
Okay, so man or woman?
Man.
Okay.
Early
African
30s,
American,
maybe.
bald and ripped.
African.
African.
Does that match who you found in the apartment?
Maybe you don't know. I mean, the two black men weren't really muscular, but they were, again, thin, athletic looking.
Were they bald?
So, what's that?
Were they bald? Or did they have hair?
Well, you weren't in the room. With you, Arthur, because of the stuff around their heads, it was quite hard to see, and also it was, sort of low light.
So, what more can you tell us of this man? And why is he suspicious to you?
Well, he went off. He left the shop, and he went down a few blocks to a coffee shop on 139th Street and 6th Avenue. It's above a speakeasy called Fat Mabel's. I also managed to get his name. His name is Makunga Mdari.
All right, so I need to ask you to write in the chat the
Yeah,
name of the coffee shop and the name of the man, please.
It's the name of the speakeasy underneath the coffee shop. There you go. When I was trying to look into him further, my friends were pleading for me to walk away, and eventually I did. But maybe that was too late. Maybe he clocked on to what I was doing.
Why were they pleading you to walk away, and what was suspicious that drew you to him?
Well, the fact he goes into a speakeasy for one thing, the fact that no murders tended to happen, and the shop has some strange
Uh,
items in it.
which shop were you going to?
Well, this block, it has a shop. The one that I told you that he left, Juju House.
Yes, that is
You know
right, but it is owned by a Silas and Conway. Conway.
Yes, definitely. But whether he is involved with Makunga or not, it may well be just a facade, a front for something bigger.
Oh, it definitely is.
Makunga, I have a hunch that he is more high up, that he coordinates things.
And have you heard the name? What was the name the woman gave to us just earlier, yesterday?
It was. No.
Booney?
Bonet, but I was looking for a first name. Nichonka Bonet. I'll put that.
Have you come across the Nchonka Bune?
Oh, no, ma'am.
There is a possibility she may also be involved, but we are not sure.
There were, like I said, men and women who disappeared. In terms of when I was watching the shop, that was really all I saw. This Makunga come out. Maybe a few customers went in and out, but I don't remember. They didn't seem particularly noticeable or out of the ordinary.
Every lead always seems to point back to the same place, guys.
Yeah.
We need to read these books, find out what this cult is. We need to know what they are worshipping, what their weakness is,
Yeah, it may be worth talking to my friends in case they manage to find anything further, but I don't know. It sounded like they'd given up.
Still, it's worth a chat to him.
Perhaps, but I think the books is only other non-confrontational investigation we can do before we have to go in and find that basement.
And you hear the sound of Brunton kind of coming up saying, "All right, folks, time's up."
Missy?
So I believe we should thank Mr. Adams, not saying anything else in front of the officer.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he was pretty much in earshot, but he was further down the corridor to give you a bit of space. But when you thank Hilton, he gives you that look as if his time is
Helping get out of here.
yeah, his time is running out, and if you don't do something, he's going to be fried.
Yeah.
Literally.
Hopefully, I mean, there's obviously
Well,
So hopefully we can do something.
I've only got 6 days myself.
All right, and I guess that is a good time to end today's session.
All right.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for watching, Steve. Hope you're enjoying all the twists and intrigues and all the clues pointing in the same direction. And all the Karen asking to speak to managers. I will see you on Saturday.
Yes.
Oh, because like on this channel, you get 1 for the price of 2 at double the price.
Indeed.
Crazy cute.
All right, I will end the broadcast there. Oh, by the way, should we just get Ronnie to do the next recap? Because it's only fair with the luck, right?
Because, yeah, he's totally here and knows what's going on.
Well, obviously we'll ask him afterwards, but I just remembered. So.
How can it sum up something it wasn't part of?
We'll ask him. I'm just the pasta and pizza and the tomatoes.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Spacco la faccia. Good luck translating that.
Okay. I will see you later. Thank you very much, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.